Thursday. Hi, everybody.
It's Thursday.
Hand sanitizer. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are.
Eva, hand sanitizer.
Thank you.
The blue-haired boy is having a couple of days off, so he is not here. So it's us instead. So hi, guys at home. Welcome. Welcome to Thursday.
How's everyone's week?
Odd.
Odd?
This has been the weirdest week ever. It's like, haven't we done this before somewhere? Like,
Yeah.
oh, don't we know how this shutdown thing works? What are we doing now? Oh, we're in lockdown. What?
Again.
Anyway,
And
here we go.
And the last 2 days, everyone's been talking about rumours about lockdown 4 or 3.5 or what happens next. But
the
anyway.
important thing is it's Thursday and we are tasting. That's the really important thing.
Hey, even if we do go into whatever this other lockdown that the rumouring is going to be, we can still do tasting.
Absolutely.
We might
might
be able to open the shop.
We might have to do it every day. Anyway, what are we tasting tonight, Ross?
Fortified wine from Rutherglen. Woohoo!
Excellent.
Some national treasures.
Some of
actually.
our personal favourites.
And,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So why are we tasting those?
Because they're good winter warmers. They're good by the fire. They're a bit sort of like, you know, have a glass of port by the fire after dinner.
Okay.
It's not sort of warm weather stuff. It's cool weather stuff.
It's also probably the sort of stuff you drink when you're locked inside.
Or should be.
This is true. And we're starting with
Campbell's Classic Rutherglen Topac.
Topac.
Topac? Yeah, Topac. Yeah.
Now
Tomato. You call
what
the whole
is
thing off.
topac?
It's a very good question, one. I'm glad you
Well,
asked.
up until a few years ago, it used to be called Tokay. But what with those EU naming regulations and stuff, the guys in Rutherglen decided they weren't going to have a fight with the French. They come up with another name.
That's fair.
Because Tokay's, it's Tokai in the EU, and it's made in Hungary, but it's not. I don't think there was a confusion, but they kind of decided it wasn't worth having a stoush, and they came up with a new name. I don't know how they came up with the word Topac or Topac, but they did.
Rachel is in the producer's
Thank you.
box.
May I be here?
Oh, you hit Charles.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
So,
Cheers, you.
what makes a topac a topac?
Well, for starters, these are all fortified wines, and the point of fortified wines is part the way through, or I don't know, more than halfway through the fermentation process of the wine, they put in grape spirit to stop the fermentation process to maintain a level of sugar. So,
Yeah.
with these wines, they'll always be sweeter, and that's how they're meant to be. And the two thing with that is by adding that fortifying spirit and the high sugar concentrations in the wine to start off with, it is a preservative effect to that. So these things will last for a very, very long time.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, that kind of technique of adding the fortifying spirit to stop the fermentation when they got the sugar level they were happy with started a long time ago in Portugal with port wines, Madeira, sherry, those kind of things. So these are kind of loosely modelled on that, but given they started making these wines in probably the early 1800s, or these styles of wines, they kind of diverged from the Madeira and the port, I don't know, somewhere along the road.
Yeah.
What it also means is once it's fortified, it means that it has quite a long shelf life. So this is one of the few wines that you can actually open it, have a drink, plot twist, put the lid back on, and it will keep because it's fortified. So that's a good thing to do. It's perfect for those of you who live on your own or only a couple of people, so that you don't have to drink it all at once, and it can keep. So that's good. One of the other things that I learnt was that in Campbell's, the white top means it's made from a white grape. So this is the Muscadel grape, which is a white grape variety, and this one is a dark grape variety.
That's clever. Christine wants to know how long can you keep it once it's open?
They say something like a couple of months. You know, you want to screw the top on pretty tight, but
3 to 6 weeks is probably recommended, but longer.
They've never actually lasted that long in our house, but I have heard that that's possible.
The other thing is what happens with wine is once it's open is it oxidises. Well, the thing with these wines, because the way they're matured, they're already oxidised. So not a lot more oxidation can happen, but it will lose freshness with time.
Yeah,
All right, so one of the best things I think about these fortified wines is the smell. I think the aroma is just fantastic. So what are we getting in there?
lots of dried fruit, sort of
Raisin.
like
Apricots. Quite a floral sort of flavour to it, I think. Smell to it.
Maybe even a bit pruny.
Yep. So these are both of the Campbell's wines. They leave the grapes on the vine for quite a long period after you would normally have harvested it. So that allows it to really sort of shrivel. So 6 to 7 weeks after you would normally have harvested, they leave it there so that it gets really sort of shriveled. And then
It's sort of they're raising.
they're raisioning it.
Yeah, at that point.
If raisin can be a verb, it is now. I've just made it one. The other thing that I thought was really interesting when Dan from Campbell's was talking about it was that they put them in barrels and they store them in a really hot, uninsulated tin shed.
With cold winters and
Cold,
hot summers.
that's right, yeah. And he said that's part of the process is you put it up near the roof under a hot shed and the thing is really sort of cooks,
Yeah.
basically. And that's what's giving you not just the dried smell, it's nearly a baked smell, isn't it?
No, definitely. And with this one, the colour as well, as I was bottling them, they were all slightly different colours. And I guess everyone samples at home. This one was, I think, slightly more orangey.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a nice
it
rich
does
sort of
start
toffee
off,
colour, isn't it?
It does start off being a white wine grape,
Yes.
but but when it's raisined, it will be sort of a pinky, browny, apricot kind of colour. When
Yeah, okay.
Sure is pretty.
yeah,
It is very pretty.
Beautiful.
So
and
I'm going in for the taste now
now
because I'm in the tasting chair.
in these Rutherglen Fortifieds, there's 4 classifications. The first one is just Rutherglen Topac. These ones are all the classic, which is the next one up. It's the second tier. The standard Rutherglen ones tend to be younger wines, generally about 5 years.
They average about 5 years.
Average 5 years maturation. Where these guys are sort of classic has to be about 10, but I think these ones are 12 years.
And then the Grand is an average of 30 years old. So it's blended year. It's a blend of years. It's not all from 1 year. And Rare is an average of 50 years. So
Well,
that's
the
really quite
thing
special.
that they use, and you can Wikipedia it, and everybody has a different take on what it is, but they use the Solera system. So what happens is every year they top up the barrels with last year's vintage or this year's vintage, and so it just keeps aging and averaging.
Yeah.
Caitlin has said it's almost like an adult Ribena smell.
I get the apricot-y kind of.
Yeah, I don't get the.
And Lisa said, lovely to see Vivian in a starring role.
Ah, Lisa.
Also, cooking. Lots of people are talking about Christmas puddings. That's what you do.
Be nice.
I think Dan was mentioning the muscat is more
More.
Christmassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
But
more.
I guess
This is
you'll
one he
see
said would
with
be
this one.
absolutely perfect with blue cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
I see that.
Blue cheese and sultanas is how we have
In
it.
front of the fire.
And with some nuts.
Ooh.
What kind of nuts
The
do
nuts-
you think? Almonds?
Well, it's usually me. I'm the nut.
Or that old gag?
Now, I was expecting... Well, I've just gone ahead and tasted it.
Yes, I have too.
I was expecting it to be slightly more... I guess with that such a sweet smell, you'd think it'd be more syrupy, but it's quite...
No, it's quite a refined
Mm.
texture, and it finishes. It doesn't. It's not sweet and cloying on the end. It's
No.
got quite a. If it can have a dry finish, it's got. Doesn't leave you feeling all gummed up.
No, it's quite right, yeah.
Delicious. As I say, I think you can see why it doesn't actually keep in the bottle even if you screw the lid on.
No. Dangerous.
It's got some problems there. That's really nice.
I like the idea of Dan was talking about how, I think, whereabouts is this from? Well, Rutherglen.
Rutherglen.
He was talking about how people often pick up a bottle or two of the Fortifieds on their way to the ski fields and...
When you could do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
could do that, yeah, of course.
And then sit in the snow and drink it, look over the... I
Yeah.
thought that was just heaven.
I thought, because I was like, you could even make like a fortified snow cone. That'd be a bit of fun. Because it is so syrupy.
Yeah, delicious.
Caitlin and Sky have blue cheese.
Oh,
I
Ah.
think by coincidence, I don't think we told anyone to do that.
Oh, well
But-
done. Go
very
Caitlin.
well done.
delicious.
I wish we did.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Oh, and Jenna said with dates. Oh,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
Dates, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
There's a datey sort of smell about that too, isn't there?
That's really delicious. And you could do it chilled in summer. if you wanted. I
Yes,
think the ice
right.
might knock it back a bit, but I think it would be nice. Good
It's-
Christmas drinking. I think would
Yeah,
be good
certainly.
with desserts
Is that where you like to be drinking it, or
by the fire. By the fire.
by the fire?
Blue
yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Nightcap sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
End of a long, stressful day.
A long, stressful day in lockdown. Okay, moving right along. The next one is the classic Rutherglen Muscat.
Now, what is a musket?
It's a gun that's got
No. Muscat is a grape variety. In fact, Muscat is a family of grape varieties. About 200 different members of Muscat family. They're Muscat of Pettigrains, Muscat of Alexandra, red Muscat, brown Muscat, white Muscat. You name it, there's Muscat.
Dan described this as a black grape.
But in Rutherglen, they would call it the grape that they used as brown Muscat, or Rutherglen brown Muscat, which turns out to be a French variety, as it would be.
Rachel?
Thank you.
Tell you what, this is interesting though, when you compare the colour of, that's yours,
Yeah.
when you compare the colour, a bit hard to see without an enormous amount in. This in my right hand is the Topake and this is the Muscat, and it's quite a bit lighter and more apricot-y, the Topake. The Muscat is quite it's a bit darker.
Definitely.
That's far more alcoholic, acidic.
I think
Now-
they're about the same.
Are these made in basically the same way?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And this is, Campbell's described this as Christmas pudding in a glass.
Christmas pudding.
We should ask Jen about that. Jen's very good at making Christmas puddings.
Now I made did we talk about what makes it a classic Rutherglen and how you have to make sure you say it's a classic Rutherglen?
Well, that means it's,
Oh yeah.
Time.
it's the second. Well, the four categories are just the straight Rutherglen, and there's the classic. Then there's, was it grand or rare?
Grand and then rare.
Then rare.
Yeah.
And rare is obviously the old, really old,
So it's
luscious,
on
expensive, treacly.
In fact, there's a rare version of the Muscat is called the Merchant Prince, and it got 100 points out of 100 in Wine Spectator, which is the only Australian wine ever to have done that.
Ooh,
Wow.
I know, pretty cool.
that's spectacular.
So what are we getting here? This is quite a different smell. I mean, you can smell that they are both fortified, but they're quite. What are people getting?
I'll get lots of raisins and sultanas and stuff.
Yeah,
Very dried fruit, very
yeah. I can see his Christmas cake, Christmas pudding in a glass kind of idea.
a bit treacly and a bit.
Yeah, this one is slightly more treacly, I feel.
Yeah, dark. The sugar tastes darker, doesn't it?
Oh, Christine just got home. We're on the Muscat now.
Yes, we're on the Muscat. So we started, Christine, with the Topake, and then we're now on the Muscat.
Brown top.
The one with the brown. No, that won't make any difference to her.
No. Right? Oh my goodness, it wouldn't work.
So it's
Silly.
the Muscat that you can do with the. Someone in the producers.
Eva, what's that face doing?
Liza said treacle on the nose. Yes.
That would
Definitely
be messy.
agree.
It is very treacly. But
Definitely.
again, it doesn't really have a lot of cloying sweetness. It's not, when I was not a kid, but when I was first drinking these, they were called stickies.
Stickies.
And I don't think they're actually as sticky as they used to be. Is that fair?
When I
Yeah.
was bottling these, if I spilt any, I rinsed all the bottles because it was just.
They get sticky then.
sticky.
Yes.
I even rinsed these before bringing them down. I was like, no.
Yeah,
this is-
yeah. Yeah. Good for fingerprinting,
Yes.
just in case.
in case I needed.
Finger painting. What flavours
That's
do you
really
get, Rachel?
delicious.
Ooh, this one. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
More raisin again.
This one is slightly more syrupy. I think it has like a richer and thicker mouthfeel.
Slightly different sort of viscosity to it, a different texture. Yeah, yeah, it's nice.
But certainly more Christmassy, I feel.
So Dan from Campbell's was saying you can make a cocktail out of either of these by adding some soda, ice and soda and lime. And I can't see it quite so much with the first one, but I can see it with this one. I can see that would be a thing. I've never
It'd
tried
almost
it.
be like a sweet and sour sort of
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, which would be interesting. I like that.
This is when we need Luke.
Well, we can't have Luke. So there you go.
We'll have to get on his case to make us up some cocktails with these.
I believe your sister said, yes, Viv, when you started drinking these when you were a kid, thanks to Dad.
Yes, let's just leave the family history out of it, shall we? We did buy an entire full-size barrel of port with a tiny weeny tap on the bottom.
Luke, we're doing the musket. By the way, technical difficulties. Apparently.
Is Luke late at home? Good Lord. He'll have to come in for these in future. So I really can't see anywhere else. I think I can see that you could do a summer drink with it, but I think this is still by the fire. Do we still by the fire?
Definitely wintry.
Do you think you could do this one with blue cheese as well? Caitlin, does this go with blue cheese as well? Please let us know.
People are suggesting smoked cheddar.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Paprika.
Look, or you could just be sneaky and have it with Christmas cake.
You could.
Yeah.
Sweet on
But is
sweet
that
on sweet.
too much?
Yeah, rich as hell.
Just like pour it on.
Make
as you eat
make
it.
your toes turn up, all that sort of
Fair
Just
enough.
bring on that sugar coma in the oven.
Isn't that what Christmas is about?
Yeah, we don't do Christmas puddings at Christmas though.
No, not really.
We always used to do them for my birthday because it was the middle of the year and it was this time of year, it's nice and cold and you can have Christmas puddings. That's really delicious, but quite a bit more raisiny, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Okay, so we are now moving on to the last one.
Hang on, you're rushing this. We're still enjoying this.
Sorry.
What does aging do to them? So how you're talking about the Rutherglen, the classic, and grand and rare. What does that change in the taste or the flavour?
Well, it changes quite a few things. Well, the most obvious thing is you put things in the barrel and you leave it, and it shrinks.
Concentrates.
Yeah, well, it concentrates, but you get them out of it. It slowly. Some gets absorbed into the barrel, but then you also get the evaporation via the transpiration through the barrel. So as over time, there's less and less in the barrel, but it gets more concentrated. And how they compensate with that in the Solera method is they top up all the barrels every year or so often by adding newer material in. So that's why they say an average age of 5 years. It's not all 5 years. There's more. There's some that's older. There's some that's younger.
But if these classics have got an average of 12 years, then there's 12 years worth of complexity in there. I guess that's the difference. So
But
you've
there'll
got,
also be some 15-year-old material and some 8-year-old material.
That's
on
right.
average.
That's right. So you've got, I guess the reason they sort of go up in price and complexity is because you've got just more effort gone into it and more years worth of blending.
Well, and apart from the concentration concentrates the sugars and the flavours, but you also get the oxidation, which tends to bring out more the caramelly toffee kind of feeling and sticky textures as well.
Yeah, okay. So as it's older, it's stickier and toffee-ish.
Yeah.
And they're very smooth though, aren't they? They're really quite lush. They don't have any sort of sharp edges to them.
I can imagine it'll get pretty pricey too. Like a 50-year-old whiskey, for instance, if you're tending to it every year and you're keeping it for 50 years up to.
Yeah.
Like, how much would like a rare fortified go for?
Oh, 80 to 100.
Also, not really even that expensive.
I saw what's after grand? It's the rare.
It's the rare.
Yeah, when we were in Hong Kong, Brown Brothers had one, and it was a small square bottle like this. It was $1,000,
I mean,
and the Hong Kong Chinese were falling over themselves to buy it.
Which is actually cheap compared to whiskies in the same age and the same.
But it was something like 50 years old, so.
that's a lot of work. 50 years worth of work for a lot of bottles, but for one
Yes.
barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Right.
All right. Now can I go to the Tawny? Tawny. So this is from a different maker. This is from Stanton and Colleen.
Which is pretty much across the road from Campbell's.
Yes. Interestingly, both Campbell's and Stanton and Colleen, the winemakers and people running the business, are women. Now, which is a thing. Once upon a time, Rutherglen was just all blokes, and now it's all girls. Well, not all girls, but there's a lot of girls. Is it Sue Jones and all sorts of people?
Mandy Jones.
And Mandy Jones?
Mandy Jones.
Oh, there you go. So Stanton and Colleen came about because literally a Stanton married a Colleen, and
I can stop that with Eva for that.
thank you.
Do you want to come in?
Okay.
But still need your stuff. Oh, thanks.
There you go. Now this is a different colour again. So if I compare that now to, this is quite dark, isn't it?
Now, Tawny would have once been called Tawny Port, but they can't use the word port anymore, so they've just stuck with Tawny. But it's meant to be a copy of the Portuguese fortified that we would call port.
Yeah. So port came from Porto in the Douro region in Portugal.
So there'll be a lot of, they vary a lot in Australia with the Tawnies or the ports, whatever you want to call it. But they all have heavily red wine, quite often Spanish varieties, but also things like Shiraz and Durif.
Yep.
So
Okay.
in these ones, the Rutherglen one, I'm guessing is usually Shiraz and Durif with other things. There'll be Touriga and.
I think this is from
Rafa.
Portuguese grape varieties.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
That was what I
You read?
remember.
So
Again,
sorry, why can't we use the word port?
No,
anymore?
it's just Shiraz and Touriga.
oh, there you go.
So
Touriga's a Portuguese.
It's Portuguese.
Right,
We'd be
yep.
using a Portuguese port.
Because
It's an EU name.
the EU names are also, that's why we can't call Australian sparkling champagne.
Mhm.
That debate went on forever.
Is it the same with sherry?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, interesting.
So all of these things have had to have
All
new
of
names.
these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
So with the guys in the Fortifieds, in fact, it was Campbell who. Colin Campbell, who really took the fight up and decided, let's have our own classifications, we'll have our own names, we won't go to war with them, we'll just
Come up with something.
come up with something. And so those classifications of Rutherglen Classic, Grand and Rare apply across the board.
Yeah, okay.
So I think this one is a classic. Is that right?
Yeah, they're all
Yeah, they're all.
classic
Yeah, they're all
Rutherglen.
classics.
12-year-old.
So that's a classification not just for Campbell's, but for all of the fortifieds that come out of that region. So it's sort of heading towards that sort of regional classification we see with European wines.
Okay. We also have a question. Does it matter what type of glass you use for these wines? Does it have an impact? I've heard it does for things like sparkling or champagne. Because you usually drink them in quite tiny glasses, don't you? Because the standards is 60
Okay,
mils,
this is
I
something
think.
I've experimented over the years. I find the best thing to drink it out of is out of a champagne glass.
Really?
Yes.
But just have this much, or a little bit, a bit more than that, but about that much in a champaign glass, because it holds the way
Keep all of the
it
smell.
holds the smell. The way it
The
holds
aroma.
the smell.
Ah.
How
You know,
interesting.
if you put it in a brandy balloon would be like that, you'd lose it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd lose a lot of the concentration of smells. With a champagne flute, because it's nice and thin, and a thin thing, it concentrates the smell. So when you actually smell it, so this is not bad because it's concentrating it, but a champagne flute will be even thinner.
Get it right on the nose.
I've tried it in everything, and port glasses are usually rubbish.
Ross has tried it in everything.
Well, actually, okay.
Family
I
secrets.
will now confess. This is family secrets.
They taste terrible out of tankards when you're at university, just in case you're interested.
Yeah.
Not good in pewter.
Yes,
Now this is where my drinking hobby started. My father, if ever as a
Strap
small
yourselves in,
child,
guys.
if you were ill or restless or whatever, you were given a tablespoon of port.
Ah,
Oh.
there you go.
So my earliest
See,
drinking
you had
memories.
a tablespoon, I had a whole barrel. There we are. That's the difference right there.
Yeah, Jeffrey said he loves them out of a pork pipe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I find port pipes a bit fiddly, to be honest with you. And I think one of the things I like about drinking them out of a champagne flute is that you've got champagne flutes
Yeah.
kicking around your
True.
house and you can whack them in the dishwasher.
Yeah. Lucas said it's a little bit musky on the nose, this one.
It is a bit musky.
Slightly more.
And I've got more nuts and things in this one than I did in the other ones. The other ones were just fruit for me, whereas this is a bit, I've got
I feel like-
toasted things.
This has changed a lot for me since I was first given it. When I first sniffed it, it seemed quite winey and acidic, and now it's
Okay.
mellowed out a bit
Mellowed
for
a bit.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Christine was saying she's thinking like very acidic, but now she's getting like roasted almonds.
Yeah, I'm getting almonds too. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
And Caitlin's got pink musk on the nose. Yay, musk!
Musk and lollies turns up in every week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And more raspberry and plum notes.
Yeah, completely different fruit flavours, I think.
I'm getting the Shiraz itself. I just
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I get
Slightly
that.
spicier almost.
Yeah.
Well, not spicy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
compared to the others. Definitely.
But the tawny ports were much sweeter until about the 90s. And then the guys in Rutherglen decided that they needed to scale back the sugar and make them just a lot more savoury. So now they taste more, you can now taste more of the wine characteristics than we probably did when we were at university. Mind you, we were probably drinking crap when we were at university. but
Well, you would have been drinking the the 5-year-old version, not the 12-year-old version. So it would have been
Yeah, if you were
fresher,
lucky.
sweeter.
If you're lucky.
Oh, that's 3 weeks old, out of a gumboot. That's right.
Oh, well, we used to call the stuff that came out of the barrel, Andrea in Brisbane will remember this, we used to call it lead plate port because it was very drinkable, but the next morning you felt like somebody had put a lead plate between your brain and the rest of your body. It was very unpleasant.
And would that be like the massive amounts of sugar as well, making the hangover worse?
I think it was
Hypothetically.
probably just the volume of
Yeah,
it we were
right.
drinking, and it was,
Fair
we had no idea how old it was. It arrived in a barrel. It could have been 3 weeks old.
And it might have been had
Who
some
knows?
horrible, yucky fortifying spirit in it.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyway,
Lucas said there's almost like a peppery flavour
Yeah,
from the Shiraz.
yeah,
Sure.
I got that.
yeah, absolutely. The grape is much more accessible in this one.
Yep.
You can actually taste that it's wine. I think the others could have been made of almost.
Do you think that's because it is slightly drier than the others, that it is more
Yeah.
wine-ish, I suppose?
And it's not there's none of those caramel flavours.
Yeah.
I feel like you could drink more of this.
Yeah. I think also you could drink. They say that you can have this with sort of pate or cured meats, and I could sort of see that. You know, you could nearly have it as an aperitif.
Now I'm going to go
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
going back to the reminiscing thing. Stanton Clean port was my father's favourite.
There you go.
There you go. So
I'm almost getting more like
get all
like a dry Ribena with this one more than the other one, I suppose. But
yeah.
it
There's a
is,
touch of that.
slightly more
Yeah.
blackcurranty.
Yeah. But it's definitely wine that they've done something else with. With the other ones, it could be anything. Really. Is this? Are we still by the fire? Has this got a bit more flex in it?
I feel like you could almost see. I don't have any experience in cocktails, but I feel like you could make a cocktail out of this one. Just maybe because I am getting like not as
Yeah.
sweet, I suppose, but more
Yeah.
of a different flavour.
I think we might get our cocktail cowboy onto this one and see what we can do.
Yeah, Luke, where are you? What cocktail
Well,
would you make
Luke
out
was
of this?
saying a Rob Roy before.
Oh.
What's a Rob Roy? I
He
should
said
know
whiskey. So I'm guessing it's just fortified in whiskey.
Oh.
I don't know, Luke.
Yeah.
Tell us.
that.
But yeah, Lucas said not much caramel, but I taste hints of maple. Not angry.
What about with chocolate?
I think all of them would go with chocolate. But this would go particularly well with chocolate, I think, because you've got that red fruit sort of flavour.
Like nuts and
Yeah.
chocolate,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Mm.
Not sure.
This is a bit more
I feel
interesting.
like this would make a good snow cone.
Right.
Still on the
So for
spectrum.
those of you
Sorry.
popping up to the snow, I don't know why you're not really allowed to go unless you live there. But
That one. I'd go with that.
you think a snow cone? I think this one you'd probably still wind up with quite a lot of flavour if it was colder, if that's what you're going to.
Well, Lucas said the Rob Roy usually whiskey and vermouth, but you could substitute with the muscat
Muscat and vermouth.
instead. No, of the
Yeah.
Instead of the vermouth.
yes.
Whiskey and muscat. Whiskey and muscat.
So I guess
No,
that would
whiskey
only
and
be the middle
port.
one.
That's what whiskey and port. Yes.
Whiskey and
Oh,
port.
and he said the tawny would be great with good gold rum. Sorry, it's like slightly further away.
Okay.
Bit of rum.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
see.
Oh yes, it would be. Then we could play pirates again.
Ross was talking about this morning that pirates would listen to AC/DC. I'm not sure if I agree, but that's another story.
They were speaking crap, so it's okay.
And plot twist: Ross talks crap in the morning, as opposed to the
He hadn't quite
afternoon.
had his coffee yet.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, that's really
Well, that's the
interesting.
question of the week. If you're a pirate and you're drinking rum or port, maybe, what music would you listen to as a pirate? That's what I want.
Question of the week.
Yeah.
Sea shanties, obviously.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Like a bit of folk, maybe a bit of penny whistle. You know, but that's not very.
Ross would just throw
piratey.
people overboard if it was folk and penny whistle.
You and your penny whistle. Boy.
That's fair.
Ross has been known to go, oh, here comes the violin, we're leaving now. Not really a folk music afficondo, as we used to say.
Now, do we have any last comments on Fortifieds?
Well, what was everybody's preferences? What does the tasting panel think?
They're all quite different.
I don't like one more than the other.
No, because they're all different scenarios, I feel. Do you-
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
similar
like,
to
I'm not. It's just I'm kind of.
Rachel has finished that one, so I think that's Rachel's favourite.
I finished all of them.
Oh.
I'm actually in shock because I remember the last time I tried to drink any sort of fortified, I was maybe like 19 away with friends and I took a sip and I was like, that's the most repulsive thing I've ever had, but I really like it.
Yeah, they're
I've
nice,
done
aren't
that.
they?
Yeah, I never thought I'd enjoy it because I never tried it again after that one time, but
No, they're good.
actually delicious.
It is delicious.
I think the muscat is probably my favourite.
Yeah, I think I'm with the muscat.
I just sampled it again and you get that mapley sort of.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Ish.
I think I'm with the muscat as well.
Yeah.
They're all good, but I think the muskat's.
The Christmas pudding in the glass one.
Yeah.
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 I reckon
Cool.
I'll try and make a soda and lime with that one. That'd be good.
Okay.
Tasty.
All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. Okay.
Liz, they all retail for $39.95
Is that
each.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, they're the classics.
Beautiful.
Christina said she also agrees with the muscat.
Okay.
And
Nice.
yeah, Jenna said it would depend on the move.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, next week, Rachel can do a bit of product placement. She can wave her arms around.
I can. We are doing tequila.
Tequila.
Finally. Check to hold that one?
Yep.
Ooh, la la.
Ooh la la. As requested, there you go. Jen will be pleased. We're doing aged tequila.
Or reposados.
So
Yes.
this is the
Fontaleza.
Fortaleza, which is 4 months old, and some other bits and pieces, and the
Tequila
Espolon.
Ocho and Esplanade.
Beautiful.
And the week after that, we're going to be doing
Merlot, Christine, you'll be pleased to know. Yes. And the Merlots we are doing. Excuse me. Merlots we are doing are the Levrier. Yay, team. The DiGiorgio. This is the 2014. There's not a lot of that left, but let's go with that. And the Y series, which you can buy anywhere. Better to buy it here, but you can buy it anywhere.
Caitlin said, "Woo, tequila!" And Christina's gone, "Yes,
Merlot. Yes, I know.
Now tequila, we won't be talking like pirates. We'll have to wear sombreros and grow moustaches and things.
Oh, I don't think.
No. I'm personally not growing a moustache, but thanks all the same. But that's exciting. So some more heavy, a bit of interesting spirit next week, and then some nice big red wines after that. Merlot is some of my personal favourites. So get your duck out and.
And as usual, we have half sample bottles for the Merlot, and full bottles for $60. So let us know if you want those. And all the tequila and everything is online.
Yes. So you can now buy them all online. Just click through the link and order, and away you go. So stay safe, stay locked down, keep hand sanitising, and
Let us know if you need a drink.
let us know if you need us to send you something. So have a good time, and we'll catch you guys next week for tequila. Andre, Ipa, Andre. I should really learn some Mexican.